The Big Story. You are listening to The Big Story.
Hello and welcome to The Big Story with Danish on Niti Central. And my guest today is Dr. Subramanian Swamy. Now, let me introduce the point we are discussing today. In a controversial move, the state government of Andhra Pradesh on August 25th has constituted a specified authority to manage the world's richest temple, Tirumala Venkateshwara Temple. The TTD board, which managed this temple, was removed following an amendment to the relevant act by the new government. But can the government make such a move? Dr. Swamy, welcome to the program.
Yes. Thank you. Can the government remove such a board? Yes, of course, because this whole thing is done under Article 25 of the Constitution, which enables a government to take steps for efficient management of the administration surrounding a temple. They cannot take over, but they can take over the administration. So under the rules, this board is set up, and therefore the rules can be amended without recourse to even the state. So they may have changed the provisions in the Act, the Andhra Pradesh Charitable Institutions Act, and been empowered to do this.
Right. And what does the court say in this?
The courts are very clear that they have certain basic framework in which they permit the government to interfere in the affairs of the temple administration. One is that if it's a denomination, which means it's run according to a specific religious practice, then they cannot touch even the administration. This is Tirupati was not declared as a denomination, and therefore it was possible. I set aside the order of the Tamil Nadu government takeover of the Nataraja temple, which is called Sri Sabanayagar temple in the city of Chidambaram in Kadalur district, and on the grounds that they violated Article 26, which bars the government from interfering in the affairs, any kind of affairs of a denominational temple. So that's what the Supreme Court says. But then if you say that, the method of administration has changed, then I think there we cannot interfere.
So is it the problem comes where then? Is the government taking over the temple and its...
Well, the problem that I have, a petition is still pending in the Supreme Court, is I want this all these acts in various states. You see, all the states have enacted law. There is no central law. The center could have a law, but they have not. And then, in fact, I'm arguing the center should have a law and supersede all the states' enactment. The constitutional position is that when you take it over, you can't keep it for more than a limited period. And I have defined it a limited period as 3 years. Some people say 5 years. Those are which the court decides. However, presently most of the temples, including say Tirupati was taken over in 1933, and today is 81 years later, and that's clearly a violation of Article 31.
So is it right? Now, point is that the TTD board can they take care of the temple on their own? Because
no, they will appoint some administrator and so on. They can follow any system they want. So this was a patronage system, but it was originally a good idea because if you have eminent men in it, they will see that the thing is not unduly interfered. I had gone in a court case on this matter when the former earlier board had wanted to gold plate the entire Tirupati temple and turn it into a golden temple. And it was the moving force was the chairman of the board. And I went to the High Court of Andhra and won the case. And it was struck down as gross interference in the religious affairs of Tirupati, and it has nothing to do with the administrative thing.
Right. So then, ultimately, who can take care of the temple then?
The temple religious ceremonies and so on, all are how it should look like and all that should be by the priests,
right?
By the religious body there.
But specifically, sir, if you look at the Tirupati temple, which is the world's richest temple, then a lot of people would be, looking towards it.
Yes.
Right. So then some people would have their selfish interest also. Like it is said with the Tirupati temple.
That is a separate issue. But as I say, the Tirupati temple anyway should go back to private management. Because it's more than 81 years. It's a total violation of the Constitution.
Right. And in our country... Yes, please go ahead, sir.
But, you can't fault a government in deciding the administration should be done in XYZ method.
So the government should keep their hands out of it.
Hands out of the religious affairs, and it should keep completely out of a temple after rectifying any financial management or administration.
Right. In the rest of our country, sir, how does it happen? Other religious institutions?
They have, every state has its own act. Karnataka, in fact, the court held that this was an unconstitutional act. They have gone and appealed to the Supreme Court. Is pending there to see whether some way could be worked out. So that is also pending in the Supreme Court.
Right.
And in Tamil Nadu, it has been, the Dravidian parties have been totally against any religious freedom, particularly of Hindus. They don't mind religious freedom for Christians and Muslims. And they have really brutalized most of the temples till I entered the picture.
Right.
So
Dravidian parties
my victory was the first one.
Dravidian parties are just not happy with you when you say that.
Yeah, they're not happy with me for so many things.
Right.
So what can I do? I'm putting nation first.
Right. Dr. Swamy, thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Big Story. You are listening to The Big Story.